Hello and welcome along to the match. It's the final game of the season and it's the biggest one in years. We are in the Estadio de Luz ahead of the Champions League final, Real Madrid against Atlético Madrid. Sid Lowe is with me as ever to preview the game. And Sid, we're really looking forward to this. It should be pretty special.
Yeah, it really should. I think there are times over the course of the season where there are certain games that really capture your imagination, but we've been waiting 12 years for this. Not just 12 years because Real Madrid are in the final, but 12 years because it's Atletico Madrid as well. It's in a fantastic setting. It's felt like Madrid have been on course almost all season. There's been virtually no wavering in the Champions League from Real Madrid, apart from that away game against Borussia Dortmund, and at which point, of course, they already had a big lead. And, of course, because they're up against their city rivals, which none of us ever expected. It's an extraordinary achievement that Atletico are even here. And the fact that the final's in Lisbon means that it's a road trip for around about 80,000 Madrileños, all coming from the same city, all within 6 hours drive away. It's going to be a fantastic occasion.
Real Madrid have got the history, of course, 9 European titles. Atletico Madrid in their first Champions League final for 40 years. But Atletico Madrid are the champions of Spain. We can't forget that.
Well, this is the thing. Every time you try and apply logic to the argument, every time you try and look at this in terms of, as you say, Real Madrid have got the history, they've won 9 European Cups, Atletico Madrid have never won any and have only been in one final. Nobody expected them to get to this final. Of course, they're a club with no real star players, as Real Madrid have had. They're a club with a very small budget. They're a club who've had terrible financial problems over the years. And yet, this is a team that went to the Santiago Bernabeu last year and won the Copa del Rey against Real Madrid.
All right, don't remind us.
That went to the Camp Nou exactly a year later and won the league title off Barcelona. They're a team that have a habit of making all of those things that look so logical actually not stand up anymore. And it's to their enormous credit that they've achieved what they've achieved. That said, I still think that Real Madrid are favourites.
OK, it's almost time for the talking to end, but not quite. We're going to hear first from the two managers who gave their final press conferences, Diego Simeone and Carlo Ancelotti.
I receive a lot from this competition because I won 4. I had this opportunity. This is the number 7 final that I was involved, and so I don't have to ask more at this competition. But we have the lucky to be here, and we want to do our best. Personally, I think I don't have to ask more. Of course, everyone knows how important it is for Real Madrid, this competition, and my job is to do the best. I said this at the first day that I was here, to do the best to help this team to win this competition.
Bueno, creo que la parte motivacional.
As far as motivating my players is concerned, all of the external influences actually makes it easier for the players to focus. What's important is how we manage to read the game and distance ourselves from everything that's going on the outside so that we can get on with playing the match. And as far as whether Arda and Costa will play or not, in the end, they're just names. That's not to take away any of the importance that Diego and Arda have within the team, but both of them know that if they don't play, 2 of their teammates will. So we're working with both of them and waiting to see what happens. If Diego and Costa don't play, their replacements know that they will get to play, because I have already told them.
The two managers speaking there, Carlo Ancelotti and Diego Simeone. Now, Sid, I want to pick up on a point that you made before we heard from them. I think Real Madrid are favourites.
Yes, I do. As I say, that the problem with this kind of search for favourites is that Atletico Madrid have undermined those arguments so many times. But I think Real Madrid are favourites. It's difficult to know, I must confess, emotionally how Real Madrid, if you like, reconnect to their football. Talking to Paul Clement, the assistant manager this week, he was talking about the way that Madrid have spent 2 weeks preparing for this, of course, once they knew that the league title was beyond them. So that enabled them to both protect players and to prepare for this game, which on the face of it is a very good thing. But some of that if you like, some of that momentum arguably has been lost. And yet at the same time, you can make a similar argument about Atletico Madrid. They were pushing so hard for the league title that I think it would be natural that having won it, that there was a slight climb down. There was, of course, a day and a half of celebrations, that sense of physical exhaustion and perhaps emotional, if you like, kind of emotional, almost an exhaling after that game. And I wonder if that will affect them. So it's very, very difficult to judge emotionally how they're going to be. It's very difficult to judge exactly what kind of physical shape they're going to be in, because, of course, we've still got doubts about Arda Turan, we've still got doubts about Diego Costa, we've got doubts about Pepe, doubts about Karim Benzema, maybe even a very slight doubt about Cristiano Ronaldo, but I'm sure he will play. But then you still got those small details that you can't always control.
You can't always control them. Sid, all season I've been asking you for predictions for matches. Some of them you got right, most of them you got wrong. Although last
weekend, yeah, I did get the 3-1 against Espanyol.
Okay. What's going to happen on Saturday night here?
I don't know. I think I mean, it really is very, very hard to call. As I say, I feel like the individual talent that Real Madrid have got, I think their ability to play Atletico on the break. Admittedly, Atletico are not a team that enable you to play on the break in quite the same way as Barcelona and Bayern Munich are. I think Real Madrid are very, very well aware of that. I think the quality we've seen in recent weeks with Sergio Ramos, which gives Real Madrid that little bit extra in terms of scoring goals. I feel like Real Madrid are favourites, and if I was forced to make a prediction, and by the looks of it I'm being forced to make a prediction, I would go for a Real Madrid victory.
Okay. I was going to push you for a scoreline.
You were going to push me for a scoreline, you're making it even worse for me. Let's go for Real Madrid 3, Atletico Madrid 1.
It's only because you did so well last week, that's why.
You're clutching at the possibility that I might be right for only about the 5th time all season.
Fingers crossed. We'll all cross our fingers that Sid is right and Real Madrid will be lifting La Décima right here in this stadium on Saturday night. That's all for this edition of the match. I said it was the last one of the season, but if we win, we might just be back for another one. Until next time, from Sid and myself, it's adios.